Hello, everybody out there. Let's get started here. So, let me grab my cards. Get them all unboxed and ready here. Move stuff over. So this will be October 23rd's reading, okay? So I guess this comes out earlier than I think. Some of you guys are reporting seeing it like right after I stream it, so I just can't see it for some reason. So hopefully you guys find this well. I hope everyone's doing good. This will be the last video until Monday of next week. So yeah. All right, let's get started here. Okay. Okay, very first thing we're going to do is shuffle. We'll see what we get. First thing I like to start out with usually is the spiritual evolution part first, like what are we going through spiritually, and then go from there, like what lessons are we being taught, what lessons are kind of going on, and then going from there. So let's start with that first. Alrighty, those ones are shuffled. Let's shuffle these ones. What do we need to learn, Spirit, to have our spiritual evolution happen? And then we can go from there. So let's do this. Okay, one more shuffle on these ones. Oh. Alrighty, so let's look at what we have for spiritual evolution, and then we'll go into finances, and then we will go into relationships, and then we will go into single love readings. So let's start this out first. See what we can get here. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, okay, there we go. And then we got these two cards here. Man, okay, all of these are very interesting cards. Okay, so what I'm getting here first, we have Goddess of the Moon, okay? So that's subconscious energy, that's kind of that divine feminine energy. And we've talked about that a lot on the channel. So the divine feminine energy is something where we're looking more at intuition-based things. Divine masculine is more of going out there and grabbing it. The divine feminine is more about knowing we already have it and using that as a form of moving forward. When I get the Angel of Love card in reverse, this is the next card we get. And I'll put all of these together, and then I get the action card in reverse. So right now, we're feeling a lack of connection, a little bit of a lack of connection. And the reason why is because we're not feeling quite in touch with ourselves like we normally would, right? So this could be, I mention it a lot, there could be the fogginess, there could be kind of a download of new energy, whatever you would want to call it. I've definitely been feeling it too. It's like going up and down, right? Normally I feel like I have enough energy. Lately, and maybe you guys are the same way, it just feels kind of more of a fizzle instead of a lot of energy. It just feels a little lower. So Goddess of the Moon, this is working with our intuition. This is letting ourselves work with this energy here, the moon energy, right? The moon is night energy. The moon is the subconscious. So if we're working with the subconscious, it means we're going to be working on maybe more profound lessons. And to me, this could be having more vivid dreams. This could be having maybe messages like downloaded into the subconscious. Hey, Denise. But that's what I'm seeing here for sure. And then, like I said, Angel of Love in reverse. To me, this feels like maybe we're moving forward in a way that's not in our best interest, right? Because I'm reading this in a spiritual sense. So maybe we're looking at this as being something of not approaching it with like gentleness or love. We're looking at it like we have to get results now, or else what am I doing this for? And that's actually pretty damaging to the psyche, because we're looking at trying to start something, getting that spiritual practice going, or just feeling more grounded. And I feel like this is a way of having us not be grounded. So the Angel of Love is something where, especially when it's in reverse, it's just focusing on that love energy. We need to get that for ourselves, right? So then I get the action card, and this one's in reverse. Hey, it's Taylor. How you doing? And when I see this one in reverse, we're focusing on, again, that not taking action perspective. And that's something that's very, it can be a little bit discouraging, right? Like, hold on, let me take a sip here. Oh, there went the coaster. I'm doing good too. I dropped a coaster just barely, so bear with me here as I reach to find it. There it is. There we go. Yeah, doing good. Little tired today. Little tired. Other than that, though, I'm doing all right. So Taylor, thank you. It's a Hogwarts cup. You got all the things here. Huffle House and Gryffindors and Hoggledores and stuff. No, I'm just kidding. You got all the houses here. Yes, I'm going to be taking questions. I do the spiritual readings first here. I do these messages first, and then I take questions. So if you're okay with just waiting for a minute, you can, or you can come back either way. But right now, I'm just sort of doing the readings for the day, for tomorrow. And then I go into questions. So, okay, perfect. So, spiritual message all the way around is simply this. Goddess of the Moon. Hi, Champagne C. How you doing? And then the Angel of Love in reverse and the action card, right? These cards here, especially when they're in reverse, we're looking at more of a kind of a lacking connection in the spiritual department. So we need to focus on getting our intuition to a place, getting our spiritual selves to a place where we can hear the messages a little more clearly. The way I feel like this energy is, if I can put it into a metaphor, all is going well. All is going well. We're doing these spiritual readings first, and then we'll take questions here in a minute. But we're going to get these out of the way, and then we'll take some questions. Okay, guys? So the way I would liken this is every single person is like a pond, right? And a pond that has still waters maybe most of the time. And when you walk over to a pond, you can see that it's clear or that it's murky or whatever, but you can see your reflection, right? So these past, I would say the past few days, maybe even few months, depending on the person, things have felt like it's rainy. And when we go out to the pond to look, we can't see a reflection anymore. All we see is water that's being disturbed, and water that can't rest. It can't reflect what it's showing anymore. And so it becomes kind of a murky kind of thing. The rain is great, but sometimes the storm brings turbulence, right? And so that's what I'm feeling here. I feel like there's a little bit of a storminess inside of ourselves, and we need to work on listening to that energy. And sometimes intuition or spirit comes in small whispers. It's not a loud booming voice. I call it a whisper in a thunderstorm. Trying to listen to that. That's what I've always called it. So let ourselves work with that energy and not against it. Because if we're working against it, we're not working towards anything positive. This actually should flow. It should be in a flow state. We shouldn't have to force anything, okay? And I've always said it. When you force a fart, bad things happen. And I mean that in every way possible. I'll let you take a few guesses as to what happens if you force a fart, but it's nothing good. So then we get the Hanged Man, right? And then we get the World card. So these ones right here. Hey, Quantum. These ones right here, we're looking at, again, being in a position where we could look at things differently. When I see the World card here, All we need to do is shift perspective on what we're doing in a spiritual way, on how we're growing spiritually. And things will get a lot easier if we shift perspective. That's always hard to do. But what helps me personally is this is like a grand play that we're in. How did you two, Quantum? This is like a grand play that we're in. We're all actors. And we all have different scripts. We all have different parts. But we're simultaneous actors, directors, and audience members, depending on what life we're looking into. And so it helps to look at the perspective differently. Like, how would so-and-so look at this situation? How am I looking at it? Because sometimes we get too close to our own situation, and we think it's this huge, dire thing. And most of the time it's not. And I'm not saying that to sound judgmental or anything. I'm saying it in a way that it's like, most of the time, things that we think are huge, big blocks, we find out later, they weren't really that big of a deal. You know, again, there are some big things too, but that's just my perspective. Okay, so let's quickly move on into the other sessions here. I know you guys are wanting to ask questions. I just have a couple more sections to do here, and usually be about 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes, we'll get to the actual question parts. So let's get to this quickly. So this next part we're going to focus on, let's do financials, right? It's the one place where we can get something. So this will be focusing on more financially based questions for October 23rd. And we can go from there. Okay. Shuffle these a couple more times. Okay, and then let's do these ones. Oh. We do the spiritual, then the financial, then we focus a little bit on love, and then we go to the questions. That to me seems to be a pretty complete reading. At least for the day. Okay, so financial. Boom. Boom. Okay. Hello, ZMO. Reglato. Bad with names. So if I mispronounce that, I'm sorry. Horrible with names. All right. So here's the interesting part when we're focusing on we get the Son of Cups in reverse. Okay, we get the Father of Wands, then we get the Five of Swords in reverse. I look at these cards here and I see this. We could be dealing with a very immature water sign, right? So Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, and this could be a boss, this could be a coworker, but someone who's making things a little more difficult for us. That's what I see this card as. The Son of Cups is definitely that energy where we're looking at someone who's not letting things happen naturally, and especially when it's in reverse. So I'm seeing a very closed off kind of energy there. Then I get the Father of Wands, right? This is a fire sign. So I could view this as someone owning a business, father and son oriented. That's being pretty specific. But like the father's running the business, but the son sees the day-to-day operations of it. But anyway, it's a closed off kind of energy. I could also look at this because then we also get this card, right? This is the Angel of Love. Okay, then we get the Five of Swords in reverse, and then we get Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. So I feel like primarily we're doing all right in the financial department, but we always could be doing a little bit better. At least that's the mentality I'm feeling, and I feel like we have to be in a kind of a gratitude situation. When we come from it with gratitude, it makes it a lot easier to handle certain things in life, like certain ups and downs, right? So how I would read this would be if you're someone who's looking for a job, I feel like you're going to find one. I feel like it's going to be something you enjoy, right? I feel like it's going to be something that it may not be like your calling, you know, and I'll use calling in quotes. It may not be something like that, but it will be something that I feel that you'll feel proud of at the end of the day, that kind of thing. You'll feel accomplished. And I also feel if it's with investments, I'm feeling like we would be okay to invest a little bit in something. I don't feel like a big amount would do anything. I don't feel like a big amount would be a good thing to invest in right now because, again, this energy here, this is something where I feel like we're focused more on kind of a closed off energy. So this could be a closed off way of looking at it. Maybe a business partner is being closed off. Maybe you're working in that realm and it feels a little more isolated, I guess would be the way I would feel. That's the kind of energy I'm feeling anyway for the moment. So the ultimate thing I would take away from this, if there's anything to take away from it, is that when we're looking at the finances, we're going to be just fine. But we need to look at investing or working with people that care about the end product or the end means or whatever it is they're doing. You want to look for people that have a passion. Because I get this card here. This is second chakra, Archangel Ariel, right? So that card there says work with people who are passionate about what they're doing. And if you invest with or work with those kinds of people, you're going to have good, happy financial times because the people that you're working with actually care about what they're doing and what they're putting out in the world, right? And that's the sign of a good product or a good service. Okay, so let's move on to love and relationships first, and then we're going to do love and singles after that. So love and relationships, and then love and singles. So let me shuffle these cards here. Here we go. Okay, so love and relationships. This one we'll see. So how can we grow in a relationship if we're already in one? And then, like I said, we'll move on to singles. And then we'll move on to actually taking questions. So let's do this. All right, here we go. Okay, so there's some of us out there in a relationship already. And to me, this is interesting. So some of you could be in a relationship where I do feel like three's company, right? So there could be cheating or an affair going on. I'm not sure. The way I would view that in reverse, though, is that it's a little crowded in this space. Maybe there's an extra person we weren't aware of or something in that way because it's not the Three of Cups upright. It's the Three of Cups in reverse. There could be a secret being kept there. I get the Five of Swords in reverse. Again, that's something where we could be looking at some mental turmoil, constantly thinking about a situation to the point where it's just not helpful. But the reason I'm reading it the way I'm reading it, right, more of a, you would say like a negative reading, would be this card here, the Magician in reverse. The Magician in reverse is a very manipulative person. The Magician in reverse knows how to pull the strings. The Magician in reverse knows what to do to get what they want, and they're not exactly afraid to use very evil or disingenuous tactics. Like they'll do whatever they can to get whatever they can. They don't really care about hurting people. They just sort of do it, right? I get the Thinking Woman here, which I feel like would be the other person in the relationship, and then I get Envy here. So maybe we're almost envious of this other person, or maybe we feel like, geez, I wish I could be a little more cutthroat. I wish I could be, and that's not a good thing to be. But I feel like when we've been in a situation where there's pain or there's darkness, there's kind of this feeling of like, boy, I would want to be that. I would want to be someone who was in charge instead of being stepped on. I want to be the one that's doing the stepping. And that's not the path either, right? So that's something I'm seeing here. Now, I'm going to draw another card here for this one because, you know what? Let's do another one. Okay. That one will work. I keep getting some similar cards here, so I'm going to look at this one. The other one was the Goddess of the Moon in reverse, which is definitely feeling like our divine feminine is being snuffed out, so to speak. The subconscious mind could be being ruled over by the Magician. You want me, you want me, you want me. That's the kind of thing. Or like if you guys have ever seen Star Wars, Jedi Mind Trick would be how this person operates. It's very like mental operation. I get this card here. And this is for resolution of the situation. So it's yin and yang, or yin and yang. And this is feminine, masculine energy. This is black and white. This is light and darkness. This is good and bad, right? They're the duality concepts. This card here is about becoming complete first. So in a relationship, especially if it's one like this, we want to make sure that we know where we're coming from, that we're grounded. and then from there we can start another relationship or we can do something else. I don't feel like moving forward this is going to be a relationship to stay in because it feels manipulative. But again, if it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, please look somewhere else. You don't try to contrive or fit this into anything that's going on with you. If it doesn't feel right, that's okay, right? These messages aren't for everybody. It's just how it is. Yep. That'll happen. That will happen. Mirroring. Okay, so let's move on to relationship singles and then go into that. And then we're on to questions. So the time has almost come, you guys. I know everyone's ready for questions, so just one more thing. All right. Okay. That was not a satisfying shuffle. Not as good as I'd want it to be anyway. All right. Let's do this here. One more. And shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. There we go. That works a little better. When you're working with 2 decks, it takes a minute. Hi, Irene. Good morning from South Australia. Is it true that the toilets flush in the other direction? Like the water goes around differently than it does in here? I don't know why that's my first question to you, but yes. Good morning. Okay. I saw it on The Simpsons. I was just curious. It's interesting how that works. Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you before. And with that comment I had at first, I might not ever see you again. So let's look at this. Singles. That's interesting. Okay. Let's look at the rest of these. Wow. Okay. So this is interesting right here. I'll show you the cards here in just a second. Just looking at these. When you see the cards, you get a story, right? That's kind of how it is. So I look at it, I get the story, and then I relay what I'm seeing to you. So I get community, then I get contract. Okay? Community, contract. This could literally be in a situation here where we feel that we're in a... Yeah, because you just said he was mirroring you, right? And I could see that. Or they were mirroring you. I could definitely see that because then I get the 2 of Swords in reverse, okay? Which is dealing with mental kind of energy. Which again, we'll address this more in a second. I'm just giving you guys an overview of the cards. Then we get the 2 of Cups. Good card. Then we get the Sun card, okay? Oh, okay. So a little bit of energy surrounding this one. The way I would read this is feeling, yes, Mercury mental for sure. For sure. Okay, yeah, this could absolutely be the situation. We'll go into this and see what we get and get some more here, but let's so community contract. I could look at community contract in a couple ways, but in a relationship, it could be literally like a contract that we signed, right? That doesn't mean we have to stay with it, but it does mean that in the moment, that's kind of where we're at, and we did sign on the dotted line somewhere. But again, if it's a situation that really isn't working out, we don't have to stay in it. I want to make that clear. This part, though, the 2 of Swords in reverse, this is something where we could look at, well, 2 people, I could see, thinking about 2 people or thinking about 2 situations. Both of them kind of, when I see this, it's like, I feel like this is being stuck. This is being drawn into a situation we're stuck mentally, not being able to see things for necessarily what they are. But then when I get the Sun card and the 2 of Cups, I feel like there's already something good there. But I don't know exactly what. I'll draw another card here, but this feels like it's a very good kind of card here. There's a union here that's very good, or something very positive. I'll draw one more energy card here, and we'll look at what else we have. But let's look here. Okay. And then it's this card, man holding a coin in reverse. So this could be staying. This could possibly be staying in a relationship because maybe you feel financially safe with this person, but maybe they aren't the one, right? When I see man holding a coin in reverse, this could be someone who lords money or possessions over you, someone who could guilt you into something, right? That could be one of the connections that we're talking about here. We could also be looking at possibly a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn kind of person. I see man holding a coin. To me, that's more earth sign energy. But that's what I'm getting here too. And also there could be a Libra energy because the contract card here looks like the Justice card. There could be a Libra somewhere in there. Again, though, it's dealing with that kind of energy where, and also, one of those cards dropped. There it is. Okay. One of these dropped on the floor here. Two of Swords. But also we have the community card here, and that could be, three's a crowd. There could be another energy in the situation, maybe an affair, maybe something along those lines that we could see. Again, since it's not a personal reading, it's more of like a shotgun approach. Like we're reading the energy, but it can't be hyper-specific quite yet because I'm not reading you guys individually, so it's not going to be very specific. But that's what I'm getting there. So, that being said, we can form a queue for the questions, so to speak, and you guys can start asking. And I'll let you in on how I work, just so you guys know. Ah, okay. Okay, there we go. So I'll do a brief little insight, a brief little look, okay? But if we want to go a little bit deeper, I do ask for a little bit of the financial compensation. Anywhere from 5 to 10, I mean maybe $3.99, whatever you guys feel like is comfortable. But if we want to go deeper, I do ask for some compensation that way. So I hope you guys understand. We can look at it a little bit, but the deeper look will cost a little bit. So let's see, who's first here? Okay, good. Glad you understand, Taylor. It's Taylor. So I have a karmic. Okay, not that one. What can I expect in the near future for love? Thank you. Okay, so I will draw 2 cards, one energy, one tarot, one regular card. And then if you want to go deeper, we can do that. I have a website you can look at if you don't feel comfortable having everything here. But that's how we can do it. Or you can just donate directly on here and we can do it that way. $5 lets us go a little bit deeper, and 10 lets us go pretty deep. So we'll cover everything we can. But let me give you your teaser cards here first. Getting me a case of the jitters. Something's going on. I feel like someone's energy is kind of amped up a little bit. I'm feeling that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's Taylor, right? I think that was the first question. Possible love, opportunities. Here's what I'm getting, and it doesn't go into a ton of detail. Maybe not exactly what you were expecting. I get adjacent possibilities as this energy card. But then this is where the detail comes in. This is the 6 of Cups in reverse. So the 6 of Cups in reverse with adjacent possibilities, there could be someone from the past coming back, but I feel like they've probably come back before, and I don't feel like it worked out. I feel like maybe this person's come back a couple times. This could also be before we move forward in love, we need to heal certain issues that have happened possibly in our childhood. That's what I'm seeing here, right? Because the Six of Cups in reverse, when the Six of Cups is upright, it's childhood. When it's in reverse, I feel like it's trauma. There's something there in the childhood that has happened. So that's what I'm getting for you right now. If you want to do a deeper reading, we absolutely can. And then I can address that and we can go into deeper stuff. If not, though, I can look at some other questions here. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Tie into each other. Okay, both scenarios tie into each other. All right. Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Taylor. All right. Any other questions? And just an all-around donation's good too. The tips are nice. Hate being that guy that asks like that, but I'm doing a service and feel like it's okay to ask for compensation, right? You guys wouldn't do anything for free. I mean, it's great, and I do want to help people, of course. And I'm not charging an arm and a leg, but compensation's always nice. Okay. So, any other questions? We can do, like I said, teaser, look a little bit into it. If not, I can just read the general energy for the day. Definitely feeling like there's spirit here too, so I might do a message that way as well. We'll just have to see. Shuffle these again. Angels, what is Angel's intentions in trying to return back? Okay, so just so I understand the question, Angel's intentions in trying to return back, is there a person named Angel, or are you talking about like spiritual angels? Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure, because next partner, yes, his name. Okay, what are his intentions? Okay, so like I said before, 2 cards, okay? 1 energy, 1 regular. And after that, if you want to go deeper, we can. $5, we go a little bit deep. $10, we go into the whole spiel, right? So let me shuffle these energy cards real quick. Okay, one more shuffle for these energy cards. So intentions. Okay. You'll understand why I did that here in just a second. So the intentions are this. I literally, I mean, it says broken heart right there. And then I get the Daughter of Pentacles in reverse. This could be a younger earth sign energy, but when I see this in reverse as well, to me, this is a card of like disappointment. This is like not the best, right? So the intentions, I kind of answered it right there. Not the best intentions. Yeah, I think so. I think it's a test from the universe. I could see that. But that's, that's how it goes sometimes. Things happen, and then we see them from a different perspective, and eventually we'll look back and be like, wow, I actually was that way, or I actually did do this, and now I'm doing things so differently. So that's what I'm saying. Awesome. Yes, the psychic work it's always good to get into that. It's hard to read the self, though, I've noticed, at least for me. I'm a little biased towards my own future, so it's a little hard for me to see through that. But that's how it goes sometimes, too. Okay. That's how it goes. We, generally, other people can read us a lot better because they aren't as invested in the story or the play as we are. When we're invested in the play or the story, it makes it a little hard for us to see anything else. Okay, So, any other questions? And always remember, just like a waiter at a restaurant, tips are always welcome. But if there are any other questions, we can address those. You're very, very welcome. And I love meeting other gifted people too, and other people. But thank you so much. Hopefully the cards help. That's what I'm going for. I'm gonna take another sip here. Oh. And if you guys are liking the stuff we're doing here, please subscribe. I go live every day, 4:35. Oh, champagne. I've been reading for about... I picked it up again after taking a break, as I think every psychic will do. We take breaks because it gets hard. It gets difficult sometimes. But picked it up again about about 2 or 3 months ago. But I was doing readings before that for about a year, and then again took a break and did all that kind of stuff. So it can be draining to the energy, yeah. Yeah, I'm learning how to set boundaries on asking for, well, the financial side of it, asking for compensation for doing a job. I'm learning how to do that, which to me has been difficult. That's the draining part for me, is that I tend to give everything away for free, and I don't want to be that person anymore. I feel like I got something, you know. But it is draining. It can be, especially when there's people that are kind of siphoning the energy in that way. Like they're maybe even not meaning to, but it's like there's some people that it's just very draining to do readings. For sure. Okay. So any other questions, anything going on that way? If not, we can just do a general reading for the day. Then if any questions pop up, you guys can feel free to ask at any time, and we can go from there. But let's move forward here. So, that's interesting. All right, so tomorrow's energy that I'm reading for right now, this is looking at, we get Caring Connections, okay? Then we get the Thinking Man in reverse. And then we get 6th Chakra, Archangel Metatron, which is, I mean, that's a mouthful, right? Don't hear people say that very often. 6th Chakra, anyway, this one, 6th Chakra, Archangel Metatron in reverse. So using the intuition coming up tomorrow. Using the intuition, but not trusting it. Because the Thinking Man in reverse, to me, this is blocking gift. This is blocking a spiritual gift from spirit. This is blocking intuition. So that's what I read it. Facebook's good too. I'm trying to get started on Facebook. And reader's block does suck. Absolutely. Absolutely. My gifts will be going great. And then all of a sudden there is just this wall. This like and it seems that, but honestly the wall for me, when I feel that, that's when I sort of go into I've been trying to do this lately, and it's hard to get in this mindset. But it's when I kind of go, I call it like invincibility mode, where I'm just going to go out, I'm going to do readings. I go into more of like practice readings, and I'm just going to say what I get. And I'm going to focus more on the flow state. If I focus on how blocked I am, I'm going to stay blocked. But if I focus on coming at it from a perspective of like, I'm just going to do it for fun, I'm just going to see what I can get, then I start to have fun with it again. I start to play with it, and generally that opens me up a little bit more. But again, health conditions, like you were saying, that can make it difficult. I mean, if you're in pain, to focus on a message for someone else can be kind of difficult. So I understand that. Hopefully that wasn't a rant. Just saying, you know, working in the psychic field, man, it just gets that way sometimes. It's just how it, that's how it do, right? That's how it be, that's how it. Whew. All right. So apart from not listening to the message, overthinking the message, which I was doing yesterday, did a mediumship reading. Very first contact I was bringing through. I I wouldn't say I bombed it, but I definitely shot well below par on that course, which is bad. It's a golf term. Well, below par is good. I shot above par. Let me put it that way. And the lady was actually someone who was kind of a teacher, and she helped me to focus more on leaning into that flow state and just saying everything. And when I didn't care about being right or wrong anymore, I just cared about giving a message. Things actually flowed a lot better. So, again, I'm learning. I think everyone's learning, but that's what I'm getting here. So, carrying connections, the thinking man in reverse, sixth chakra, Archangel Metatron in reverse. There's love there. There's care there from the universe, but there may be a block in the messages. That's okay. That's fine. That happens. Daughter of Wands and the Devil in reverse. Okay. Now, the Devil in reverse. Yes, forever learning. Yep, that's the whole thing. We're forever learning. And the Devil in reverse is a card where we're looking at. We could possibly be. How would I put this? We could be in a place of like addictions, right? We could have addictions that are happening with us that maybe we're not even aware of. Maybe it's spending too much time on the phone, or maybe it's, it could be porn, it could be alcohol, it could be anything like that. And thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. Video games, but we could be overindulging in some area. So I see this as being maybe our block is because we're running from something, or we're trying to escape into something else with something that's happening with us. And that happens. That's part of being human. We have vices, we have things we do. I think the important thing though is to see where we're having troubles and try and make those as best we can, make those better, right? So any questions, anything going on, you guys? Before we can do a little more here. This right here. And if there's not here, I'll just keep drawing cards. Maybe we can do what I did yesterday, if you guys would want. So you guys tell me yes or no. But would you want to do a simple 3 to 4 minute energy blending exercise where we're going to focus on the energy around us, and then after that time, I'm going to try and give us a message, give us something that could resonate with the situation a little more from spirit. Trying to do it that way. So if that's something you guys want to do, just type yes in the comments, or if it's something you don't want to do, let me know too, because I want to go with what people are wanting to do. Don't want to force anything. So does that sound good? About 3 to 4 minutes blending, and then see if we can get messages. Okay, absolutely, from Denise. Anybody else? Absolutely, yes, no. Take another drink here. All right. That is 4 yeses, or 3 yeses. Okay, let's try it. Let me move my neck in a kind of weird, creepy way, and then let me stretch a little bit here. Hold on. Okay. All right, so what we'll focus on, you guys, is we're going to focus on, when we're focusing on feeling energy. Some of you guys are used to it, maybe some of you aren't, I don't know, so I'll give a brief little thing. When we're focusing on feeling energy, we want to focus on feeling the atmosphere around us first, and then from there we can focus on the actual feeling of energy. So it's kind of like wherever our attention goes, the energy flows, okay? So how I like to think of it is like this. When we're relaxed and we're in a state where we're just very kind of calm, we're clearing our mind, the thing I want you to focus on is the air around you, the feeling around you, and then sort of let that go. And that's going to bring energy in. That's going to bring a sense of circulation of the energy body in, and then that's what we're feeling. We connect with that, then we focus on bringing through spirit or whatever messages we can, right? If there are any spirits around that I do pick up on, I will try to give some brief evidence if I can, but um, that generally is something I charge for, and that's going to be something moving forward that I do, and I'm still practicing at it. So please, if you do pay for that kind of reading on the site, have patience. Know that you'll probably get something evidential, but just know that I'm still learning too. So, all right, moving forward, let's try this. About 3 or 4 minutes. Let's focus. Get ourselves in a relaxed state. Okay. Okay. Now let's gently allow ourselves to come back. Stretch, do whatever you need to do. That was just a light kind of energy blending exercise there. We can go into more detail if that's something you guys really enjoy doing next time we do that. But also for those watching this for the first time, I should have said this at the start, but you can do the same thing. You can meditate with us. It's all quantum energy, so if you're watching it in the future, please feel free to do that. Go back a little bit, feel the energy, feel that sort of flow, because that's what we're focusing on. First thing that came through to my mind from a spiritual perspective is I feel like the way I would describe it is imagine if we're like hot water, okay? And spirit or your guides or loved ones, they're like a tea bag, right? Like a bag of tea that you put into the water. The best thing we can do over time to synchronize ourselves with this kind of energy, this kind of peaceful, calming energy, is to allow ourselves to steep in that water, to allow spirit to come in and give us the message they need to give us and not try and fight against it, not try to think too much about it, kind of just go with the flow in that sense. That was one of the things I got. The other feeling that I got was It felt like the presence of a child. Um, Maybe at a very young age. I feel like maybe a baby that is in spirit, right? That's sort of what I was feeling. That I don't feel like I felt anything progress past the kind of baby stage for this child. Didn't get who it was connected to, just throwing that out there as something. But that's something that we can look at again moving forward. And it was just a lot of like smells of like very, very specific smells. I don't know how to describe them. But regardless, what did you guys feel on your end? Did you guys feel anything while you were doing the blending exercises? Cold shivers. Okay. Did it feel exhilarating, or how did that feel? The cold shivers. Hmm. Yeah. There you go. So it was kind of exhilarating in a way, like you just kind of dive in, right? The cold shivers, and with Denise, you were seeing children's books too, and I was connecting with. It wasn't a child spirit; it was a baby, but similar energy. I mean, children's spirit, child spirit, I guess. But working with spirit can definitely it can bring visions. Most of us will see, or most of us will feel something more than anything else. So that's like the cold shivers, warmth, static electricity. Maybe the ears are popping, possibly smelling things. Again, seeing things with the third eye, hearing things sometimes. It just depends on kind of what sense is the greatest one we can have and how spirit wants to communicate with us. Oh, there you go. Yep, that's cool too. So there's definitely a little bit of confirmation there. So I think the best thing with developing uh, psychically is to work on whatever is already built up pretty high, and then work on building that up even higher. And then once we've developed more of a sense of confidence, then we can move into working on abilities we're not so great at, right? Like I feel like if we have one sense that's a little bit higher than the others, but we've never done any psychic work at all, and we keep like going forward and we keep pushing and pushing, I feel like we're bound to get burned out and feel like we're failures because we haven't developed ourselves enough. And we keep sort of forcing things to happen. And I feel like it's important to focus on the gifts that are already developed. And then again, once we've gained confidence, once we started doing a little bit of practice readings, once we're starting to get a little bit of information, then we can start developing the other psychic tools, clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairgustance, and clairalience or clairalliance. I can't remember how you say it, but just smelling, hearing, tasting, seeing, and feeling, right? And claircognizance, which is just having information come in, like it's downloaded, like just knowing something. That's definitely one of the things too. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that exercise. We can go into that more in the future. And again, I am looking at doing a class eventually online. I don't know if anyone would be interested in doing something like that, but where we could develop our mediumistic parts, our mediumistic abilities. I think that would be fun to do something like that. And just sort of have it be an environment where we're not trying to get anything right. We're just trying to develop and practice and not worry so much about being correct all the time, because that takes the fun out of it. Like, imagine if you were a kid and every time you tried to play, pretend or make believe, someone came up and said you're doing it wrong. That doesn't help the kid. The kid just wants to play. The kid just wants to be there. Good. Good. Irene, yeah, Spirit's probably still there communicating with you. Do you do any psychic work, Irene? Or work with spirits in any way, or are you kind of new to this field? Because that's always something moving forward, is to look at how we can develop, how we can grow as humans and psychics. And I know you're in. Yes, Denise. Absolutely. Yeah, children are much more they can see things much better and feel things much better because they haven't been conditioned not to be that way. It's kind of like we get it thrust out of us because society tells us that we shouldn't be able to do that, or that's impossible. And so then we grow up into adults where that's the case. We can't do it. It is impossible because we put those mental blocks in ourselves, and that creates a I guess like a cognitive dissonance, right? Having two opposing theories against each other, and then we just sort of lose faith and get burned out. I know for me personally, if I didn't experience key moments, and I had a normal upbringing, I wasn't psychic growing up, I didn't have anything like that, but if I didn't have a few key experiences happen, the way psychic messages came through, I probably wouldn't believe in it because I tend to be someone who's a little more logical and by the book. So it's one of those kinds of things where kind of right place, right time, I feel like, for some people. You know. But as long as you're open, I think that's the important thing. And maybe that's, if I did start a class, maybe that's what we would focus on first, would be to do feeling energy, getting used to that, and then kind of going into that. I wouldn't want to start off with mediumship if people aren't necessarily trained in that. If people want to do that, great, but if they don't, then we could start off with just feeling energy, and then working on psychic messages, and then eventually working on mediumistic links and messages and things like that. But again, that's neither here nor there. That can happen in the future. But yeah. So are there any questions, or is there anything going forward? And what was I going to say? I lost it. But if there are any questions, I'll give you guys a second to type if there are any. If there's not, then we can move forward a little bit here. Hello, Inked Empress. Well, that would be something I'd want to do. I mean, if I did a class, I would. I'm also. Yes, and the being born gifted is a huge. That's awesome. I myself was not born with the gift, as it's called. I kind of stumbled into it repeatedly. Kind of like a drunk person walking down the street. I sort of stumbled into it, got back up, wiggled around a little bit, and then I fell into another bush, stumbled into it again, and sort of had that happen with me. If you're natural with it, though, that's awesome. That's something I commend you guys for, because not how I was brought up into it, but I personally feel like sometimes people that are born with the natural gift can take it for granted and stop developing at a certain age or at a certain time because they already know they have something that other people don't, so why develop it further? But then there are people that have a natural gift that can truly astound as well, so it just depends. Yeah, we're walking around in the spiritual world a little drunk, Denise. That's how it goes. Sometimes. What would I be DMing you for? What's your name again? I cannot see the messages. Hold on a second. Okay. But that's something that I'm feeling is important to move forward. So maybe I'll start a beginners class. That would be something good, I think. Um, just something to feel like build up a sense of community too, where you guys can sort of meet each other and we can go further from there. And it wouldn't be too expensive of a class either. I would keep things at a pretty reasonable price. I'm not going to be crazy with it. Um, but community is important when we're going through this. So that is something I'm heavily considering. Okay. And good. I'm glad you. That's awesome. I'm glad you teach him for free. This is something. The only reason I would, and it would be a small price. It wouldn't be anything crazy. Is because this is something I want to do full time, and so I want to make a living out of it. And I think if you can if you can have something and not charge, that's amazing. That's great. For me personally, though, I feel like this is where I want to go and how I want to do things, and I'm not gonna like price gouge or anything. That's just something that I feel like that's important. It establishes and says that that's how I want to do it. So I think either way is amazing, but yeah. Thank you, Quantum. I appreciate that. Thank you. There we go. And thank you so much, Banshi. Thank you. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with either practice, honestly. If I didn't feel like I had to make a living at it, I'd probably do it for free too. But whereas I want to make a living at it and actually, move forward in that direction financially, that's sort of something I feel like I have to do. But if you guys can do it for free, if something like that's going on, I think that's awesome. There's no harm in that. If there's love around, spread it and go from there. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, we can definitely look into that. And then the class that I'm doing on Saturday, you guys, I'll put that up after. Obviously, that's going to be free. But that's going to be something that you guys can tell me what you think. That's going to be my first class I'm ever doing, so I would love to hear the feedback. Only positive feedback. No, I'm just kidding. If there is constructive criticism, I'll take it. I won't take it well, but I'll take it. That's just, something I'm a little nervous about. I think it'll be 45 minutes to an hour, and just focusing on, mediumship. Some of you people watching, I don't think you know I'm doing a class on Saturday, so doing a physical class on Saturday, actually going to a location and going to be doing some teaching, so wish me luck in that way. Yeah, the critique. Yeah, I like books. Critique is good. It is. I've been in groups before where people have been too afraid to say if I've gotten something right or wrong. And it puts you in a space where you don't know if you're getting better or worse. Because the unchecked like medium or the unchecked psychic, if you're not getting feedback, instead of actually getting messages, you could be getting ego. You could be getting the mind chatter. And you're just throwing it out to people. And people are, instead of critiquing, they're kind of kissing your butt a little bit. And that makes it so that you can't grow as a psychic. And you actually think you're getting spiritual messages, when in reality, you're getting, you're getting just your mind making information up and you're giving that to somebody else. And that's not good. So critique is definitely good. It's not fun at times, but it's definitely good to have the critique, to have someone tell you if you're doing it this way or right. Yes, confirmation. And even what I would say deconfirmation is good. I have a video on here called The Power of No. I think I've talked about it a couple times. Yeah, not fun, but definitely Definitely something that we need to have. And I'll let people know when they're not getting something right, and I'm not doing it to be harsh. I hate it. I hate in the community how there is this look of like, why would you say that sometimes? And it's like, I'm just being honest. I'm just trying to, I'm not being harsh with it either, but it's such a fragile ego kind of thing. People take their egos, go to these classes, and sometimes we're brought down a peg. Okay, and that's okay. The ego can handle it. The person attached to it sometimes has a hard time, but the ego can handle it just fine. And I know that's happened with me several times. I haven't been getting information. Yeah, yeah, and so that's just something. And moving forward, if we have a sense of, I guess, responsibility as mediums or as energetic workers, I feel like the best thing to do is to have everything be as much emotional honesty as we can. Yeah, there you go. After presentations, you ask for feedback. Perfect. That's what you want to do. And hopefully people will give it. A lot of times people won't. That's something I've noticed. You can say, give me feedback. And they're like, I will, and then they won't. And I can't be upset or mad at that at all because it's a personal thing. And some people don't feel comfortable with giving feedback. And others feel like they can give you all the feedback in the world. So I think it just depends personality wise on something like that. It's kind of like when we're presenting or demonstrating mediumship to people, there's like this, it's like you're handing them your baby, right? And you say, okay, now take this baby and take good care of it. Please take good care of this baby. And then most people just hold on to the baby, you know, and they work with it and they make it laugh, they do whatever, and they give you the baby back, right? Very few people would take the baby and say if the baby was doing something wrong in a gentle way. They would, you know, they would rather not say any. At least that's been my interpretation. Sometimes feedback is just hard for me to come by personally, but I do ask. Whether you get it, you know, that's another story, but yes, that's true too. That's why knowing the self is hugely important, because if you know yourself well enough, you'll know if someone's criticism is just maybe they had a bad day and they let it bleed over into something else, or maybe there's actually something there. Like was my contact structure good? Like, did I bring through evidence? Did I do this? And if someone comes through and they have suggestions how you could improve and it actually seems legit, you resonate with it, take it. But if someone's just having a bad day, and that does happen, you'll get people occasionally that, yeah, right. And with ego too, there can be jealousy, there can be pride, there can be a bunch of different like ways that the ego kind of sneaks in there. And I like to call it the and maybe this actually is a thing, I'm not sure, I've heard it somewhere, but it's like the mega ego, right? The mega ego, or the giant ego, is the ego that has reached spiritual enlightenment. I put that in quotations. So the ego that has reached spiritual enlightenment is a very sneaky ego, because it tells you that it's not ego at all. It's like, no, I promise you, I'm not ego. I'm not. I'm just better than other people. And then spiritually, you're thinking, you're like, yeah, that's right. Right, and that's the thing. And ego likes to present itself in different forms, and especially when we've moved into the spiritual side, like I said, it presents itself as like, no, hear me out. We're better, so we don't have to do this, or this, or we don't have to abide by this rule, or we don't have to do that, or we can be unkind in some way. So that makes it, you know, again, not right, obviously, but it can be sneaky sometimes. Absolutely. So that's just what I've learned, though, over time. Oh, 444. So for me, that probably means it's 544, which is close. Another 11 minutes, it'll be 555 for me. But that's, you know, that's something moving forward that we can focus on. And there's groups out there that help with developing mediums too. But that's you know, that's how it is. So, any questions or any insights or anything we want to share here? If not, that's okay too. I just bring it up because if there's anything we want to share, we can share it, or any insights or questions. What time works the best for everybody? Does doing this earlier in the day work better, or doing it later in the day? Sometimes I notice we get some people joining, and sometimes I notice we don't. So I'm curious if, like, maybe I can tweak the times a little bit. Because that's something we can definitely do. And if not, that's okay too. But yeah. Yeah, you can. I would say, because that ended with a question mark, so I'm thinking that's okay. I looked at that kind of weird for a second. I don't think you did anything wrong typing out that question. I'm just thinking, okay, so I feel like if we're asking for constructive feedback, the best way to do it would be, like after you do the reading, if you wanted to do like a little form or something that you mailed, or not mailed, like an email thing, you could say, please fill this out for me. It would help a lot. And then you could have like a little check mark box next to things if you wanted to do it that way. Like how was the connection? Did I provide evidence for you? Did I leave you feeling inspired, or did I leave you feeling better knowing that your loved one is alive on the other side, or things like that, like working on the connection, working on the structure. I feel like is huge, and something I'm still working on too. But identifying the ways a medium communicates, and then asking them after and say, did I do this? Did you feel this? Would you have wanted more of this? Would you have wanted less of this? Because mediums generally do, we do an intro, right? Usually, this is how I work. I work with spirit X, Y, and Z way. And then maybe that can take a while to explain. Maybe the person felt like it was long-winded. Okay. Works better for you. Okay. But yeah, if it's X, Y, and Z on the mediumship, maybe the person would say, was my intro sufficient at explaining what I do? Like, did I explain how I communicate with spirit? Did you feel comfortable talking with me? How did you feel, with certain parts of the communication? Yeah, see, and you're presenting in front of people, so that's awesome. Inked Empress, where do you, well, not where, how many people do you usually present in front of? Is it a few, or is it like 10 or 20, or? Just curious. That's eventually what I want to do, is do like live demonstrations and stuff like that, but kind of building my way up to it. And you do mediumship in front of all these people, or do you do other things too? Is it just mediumship? Oh, okay. What is it you do, Inked Empress? I feel like you work with spirit in some way. I'm feeling something touching my face. Spirit touching my face. Is it energy healing, or is it something to do with that? Or is it more psychic? No, it's class setting. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, then you probably don't get the nerves as much anymore with presenting with people. That's something that I will work with. Physically, it's hard for me to connect with people. Doing this digitally, it's a lot easier. But hopefully I can work with that in the future and make it a lot easier to, deal with people, actually. It's kind of what I'm hoping to do, is improve those parts. Yeah, they can. In any occupation, there are going to be people that just don't understand it, or again, jealousy, pride, whatever you want to think of. People can be little butts if they want to. Tiny little assholes. Sorry, I had to throw that one out. But they can. Hey, 5D Pixie. I love you too. She tunes in from time to time. Lets me know everything's okay. Yeah, this class I'm going to be teaching, I think there's going to be about, I'm going to say like 8 people, maybe. It's not going to be huge. I just want to give a proper presentation, and I'm not, let me put it this way. I'm not like a full-fledged medium, right? But there's no one else in my area that is offering anything like this, and so if I can help people on that path or guide them, that's something I want to do, because there's nothing here that would have that. So I'm just trying to put the message out there, and maybe one person will take that and say, oh, this is neat, this is interesting, because I didn't have that growing up. Would have been cool to go to something like that, but that's the way it is, right? The things we don't have, we try to put back into the community in some way. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Any other questions moving forward? Anything we can talk about here? And if you would like to, this reader person right here, the person that's in front of you, he does accept tips. I won't dance for you guys, but I can do a little song, and I can like move my hands a little bit. But yes, tips are appreciated. But sometimes if that doesn't happen, that's okay too. Just being able to connect with you guys is good too. And I understand you guys probably come here for community, just like I think it should be in other places too. As time goes on, I feel like this is going to be something that's practiced much more. Just mediumship, psychic ability, stuff like that. I feel like it's going to be practiced much more, and it's not going to be looked at under this weirdly obscure microscope. I feel like it's going to actually turn into a legitimate thing, and maybe 50 years from now, you'll actually be able to be certified like you would be a therapist or something. Like you go to college for psychic study and actually have courses on different things. Because I know some colleges teach it, but I mean like an actual, like you get a doctorate in psychic studies. That would be interesting. I was trying to think of the word. When you can read an item's history, but for some reason I can't think of it right now. Yeah, I can't think of it. That's all right. Well, you guys, so next Monday, same time, we can continue this again moving forward and just go from there, looking at the energies, talking about mediumship, energy work, whatever needs to be said. And if you guys are wanting to do a reading with me privately, you guys can visit my website. We can look at whatever you guys want to look at. I do energy healing, tarot cards, psychic work, mediumship work, astral projection, kind of whatever you guys would want to focus on, whatever we'd want to do. We could pretty much explore all the avenues, right? Yeah. No, not in lockdown. It may seem that way because I'm extremely introverted. But no, this is self-imposed, if anything. I don't know what's sadder, but yes, it's self-imposed lockdown. No, don't have the coronavirus. Actually, I don't know anyone that has had it, and so I'm doing good. No lockdown here, though. Good question. Good question. But yeah, we could work in those ways, whatever you guys would want to do. And like I said, future setting up a class possibly. I just need to get enough people interested, right? So if you guys are interested in a beginner's class to psychic development or to that, maybe you could put your paws up and say, yes or no, if you're interested, because we could do something maybe weekly. Maybe we do a Zoom class weekly where we meet in that way. And I feel like someone is experiencing, maybe someone's having a headache or something right here. My head is starting to feel very funny. But I was feeling that sensation for a minute. But if you guys would want to, you guys could tell me if you're interested. If we get like 10 people, then I could start doing a weekly class if that's something you guys would want to do. So something to look forward to. It would be about maybe $15 a class, if you guys would be interested. So yeah, we can move forward with that. Well, any other questions or anything else before vámonos? Or vamos? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I hope your eye surgery went okay, and I hope there's no complications. That sounds a little scary. I imagine that would be very not fun. Well, okay, you guys. I will talk to you next week on Monday, 4:35, same time. I might experiment with times here and there. And good. I'm glad you're recovering fast, because that's the best thing, is getting back on your feet. Okay. Thank you, Denise. Thank you. I know you're on board. I just want to get more people besides me and you. Unless we're doing a private session, I'd want to have more people kind of coming in and experiencing different things and sort of moving forward with that. So, all right, you guys. I will talk to you next week, Monday. And check the bell icon next to the subscribe button if you guys are wanting to know whenever I go live. So that way you will be notified instead of just kind of winging it. But it should be 4:35 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. So keep an eye on that space, and I will talk to you guys later. So take care, and yeah. I wish you guys an awesome weekend too. And with that, I am off. Bye-bye.